Okay, well, it is 5:30 and it's Wednesday, I think. And so welcome. Hold on a second. Okay, welcome and to our monthly Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County meeting. And for introductions and announcements, and I'm the only one with video on. That's really kind of creepy. Okay, so I'll go around and please introduce yourself and your connection. So Giselle. Giselle. All right, we'll move on. Joey.
Yeah, hi
Okay,
everybody. This
go
is
ahead,
Joey
Giselle.
Hott. This is Joey Hott from Black Mountain Fire Safe Council.
Sorry about that. My mic was off. Giselle Nova, Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County.
Greg.
Greg Dinger, Mount Shasta West.
Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen Erickson. I'm Fire Prevention Officer from the Klamath National Forest.
Thank you. Scott?
Scott Steinbring, Operations Director, Torchbearer.
Thank you. And my connection is really slow, so forgive me if things aren't running really smoothly. Jeremy?
Yes, hello. Jeremy Johnson, pre-fire engineer for the Siskiyou, CAL FIRE Siskiyou unit.
Thanks, Jeremy. Gregory Rendazzo?
Hi, I'm Gregory Randazzo, a local business owner and just a community activist.
Great, welcome. Susie?
Good evening, Susie Brady. I'm the Fire Prevention Specialist, Information Officer for the CAL FIRE Siskiyou unit.
Thank you. Kristen?
I'm Kristen Norman. I am Giselle Nova's Administrative Assistant for the Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County.
Thank you. And Jasmine. Hello, Jasmine.
Hello, Jasmine Borgatti, Chief Resilience Officer for Slater Fire Long-Term Recovery Group.
Great. Lindsay.
Hi, Lindsay Lashek, Shasta Valley RCD, and my connection is also a little slow.
Thank you. Hannah Dykstra?
Yeah, Hannah Dykstra, Conservation Coordinator with the Siskiyou Land Trust.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. And Julie.
Hi, Julie Titus, and I help throughout the county on community wildfire protection projects and planning. Leave it at that. Retired Forest Service.
Hey, thanks, Julie. And I'll move, just because of connections and stuff, I'm going to move right into the action items. And for
Jamie, Rachel Smith just hopped on.
I just saw that. Rachel, would you introduce yourself?
Hi. Absolutely. Sorry to be late. My email was not cooperating. I'm Rachel Smith, Forest Supervisor of the Klamath National Forest.
Thanks, Rachel. Glad to have you here tonight. All right, so we're going to start off with a community wildfire defense grant update. And I'm trying to remember the update. I'll go ahead and let Giselle start if you want to, Giselle, and then I can.
Okay, I've got a jet going overhead, but hopefully you can hear me. So we're already reached out to some of our partners, and we're already starting to talk and work some things out. We're still waiting on the WO, Washington Office of the Forest Service's grants and agreement people to get us the paperwork to sign and finish that off so we can actually start working. So right now we're just in a little bit of a holding pattern. We're getting the word out. We're posturing to get some stuff done. And that's where we're at for now.
we're in the middle of developing our process and protocol to figure out where we want to put the monies for the most efficient use and for the greatest good. And we're also working with Lindsay with the Shasta Valley RCD as they got a grant, and I won't steal her thunder, but working with them so we're not doubling efforts and we can not combine the money, but do a work across the county to the best of our ability. And yeah, now it's kind of in a wait and see mode, wait till we actually sign the papers for the grant. And so we'll keep you all updated as that goes on. Yeah, any questions on the CWDG, and a new acronym for it? Okay, I will move on to the Shasta Valley and their grant. So Lindsay.
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna try to share a map on the screen if possible. I think you might need to enable.
Giselle, can you have her
sharing for
share screen with Lindsay?
I just made her a co-host.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me try again. Thanks. Okay, it might take a second to come up because I have a pretty slow internet connection, but there'll be a map that should pop up at some point. And it's a map of our West Mount Shasta Forest Resiliency Project, which Jamie and Giselle invited me to speak about because there's a lot of things kind of coming down the pipe for this project area. And I think I've shared it at prior Fire Safe Council meetings, but just wanted to kind of provide an update of where we're at with it. So the goals of the project are to reduce hazardous fuels and wildlife risks to the community of Mount Shasta and surrounding areas, and also restore forest conditions that enhance wildlife habitat, increase landscape resilience to wildfire and other disturbances of these fire-dependent ecosystems. And it's integrated and coordinated with the Shasta and McLeod management units, South Fork Sacramento Public Safety and Forest Restoration Project, which has 2 phases, which are the green blobs on the left, the phase 1 in the South Fork SAC drainage, and then phase 2 to the north. And so we wanted to support the continuity of the work that the forest is embarking on, and bring it down onto the private lands down towards town. And so we designed this project that is, it's the red boundary there that you see. It basically goes from I-5 west to the Forest Service boundary. And the RC last year completed a what they call the CalVTP, which is the California Vegetation Treatment Program, which is a programmatic environmental impact report. And so we prepared with a consultant a project-specific analysis for this specific area, and it covers almost 13,000 acres. And so it'll provide environmental clearance, programmatic environmental clearance on that whole area to just streamline implementation. And before specific treatments, we will be conducting site-specific surveys for archaeological and cultural resources, as well as biological resources like sensitive plants and animals. And the CalVTP for this project covers treatments that include, mechanical and manual thinning of, small diameter trees and brush, directed herbicide application, and prescribed fire. And it's good for 10 years and then can also be renewed after those 10 years, given if there's no substantial changes to the landscape there. So, it's an opportunity for us to just, again, really streamline implementation. And we've started securing funding sources to start the treatments. We have some grant funding from the CAL FIRE Wildfire Resilience and Forest Assistance Grant Program to treat 1,500 acres within this, within the 13,000 acre area that's covered. So we'll be working with landowners to treat that 1,500 acres, and that's targeted towards non-industrial private forest lands, again, for small diameter thinning, shaded fuel breaks, that kind of work. And it's we're focusing our treatments along the base of Rainbow Ridge, so really the west side of the project area adjacent to the Forest Service lands. And an important property that we'll be treating is the Siskiyou Land Trust's Thamar Werrett property that's about 600 acres, and then some surrounding properties around that as well. And on that property, we're not just doing the treatments, but we're partnering with the Land Trust and developing a lot of community outreach opportunities and engagement to demonstrate what effective forest treatments can look like and how that can be done. And so we'll be partnering with Hannah and all the other great folks at the Land Trust to do that work. And we're still working on developing the plans of what that's going to look like specifically, as well as the plans for the rest of the treatments. We're designing the survey needs right now that the snow is melting and we can get back in there. And so treatments will likely start, later this summer, hopefully. And then in addition to that project, those funds, we were recently approached by Cal OES to do some defensible space work in the area. And so we're still working with them on what that project is really going to look like, and don't have an agreement for it yet, but that one will be coming down the pipeline as well. And that should fund the treatment of about 100 homes for defensible space up to 100 feet around the homes. And there have also been, a couple other grant proposals submitted within this project area, including one that Fire Safe Council recently submitted for funding that we're all still waiting to hear whether that funding will be approved or not, for field break along Old State Road. So, and we're also in conversation with the Shasta Trinity, the Shasta McCloud Management unit folks about potential partnership implementation opportunities once their NEPA is completed on their side. So that's just sort of a quick and dirty overview of this project. And let me know if anyone has any questions.
I'll just add that Lindsay's grant is through the state with Cal OES, and they have different restrictions and different caveats to go through. And if you're not familiar with the whole grant process, it's always interesting. But the different
Giselle, you're muted.
Did we lose Jamie? Oh, there's
Uh,
there's Kristen trying to get in too. Okay, well, admit her. Okay. So I think she was just explaining that there are different things we all have to go through to finalize our grants and get moving in the right direction. We will be working with Lindsay and the Shasta Valley RCD, as our grants are very, very similar and we're working in similar areas. So we're going to be having some planning meetings and deciding how we're going to roll this out. It's all going to be good, and I'm very excited to be working with all these different people that have similar interest and ways of doing things. So anyway, any questions? Oh, we will be working with the Forest Service too. So the Klamath National Forest called us, and they've got something similar or something that will tie in with what we're doing. And we've committed to including them in part of what our planning process and helping us to roll this out as well. So anyway, I think Jamie's back. Are you back, Jamie?
For now, I'm sorry about this. I just keep getting bumped off. So I was just going to say that the difference between the state Cal OES grant and the federal grant is ours is through the U.S. Forest Service. And I know their restriction is theirs has to be done within a SRA, state responsibility area. And we do not have such restrictions. So if you're wondering too why they're focused on that one area, besides it's a prime real estate ready to go, is that they have that caveat. So I will move on before I get kicked off again. So, and thank you, Lindsay. Julie Titus, you want to talk about the two events? Julie, go.
Yeah, real quick.
There she is.
Yeah, this won't take but a couple minutes. So we had both the events. The firescaping one was on the 29th of April, and that had, a small turnout, but it was great and a lot of great questions, great interactions. And then on the 6th, we had the second one at the academy there at COS, and it was definitely not attended well. And we realized it was raining and snowing that morning. Not helpful really to think about fire, but what I did is noted a few other things that are, so for next year, we will improve upon and be able to get more. We think we probably needed to do a bigger public blitz between the different agencies, maybe putting them out on their websites and Facebook and stuff. That was one thing. But both the local fire department reps and CAL FIRE, Susie, I talked to, the timing of that May date, early May, is too early. It's just too, they're all doing training. And I think given weather and timing, and we should move it to the beginning of June. And I think, and we do need them a month apart would be much better. Having them back to back on weekends that's just too much for people that are trying to do these things, that are trying to hit the fire things. They're like, oh, I already had one, that's good enough. So so those are the main things. And maybe a registration, maybe not have to register, but make a Facebook event and have interest instead. We're thinking those. So anyway, I mean, it was a great cadre collaboration that everybody did really well. We went ahead and ran through it anyway, because the agencies wanted to. So we didn't just walk away, even though there wasn't very many folks. And people, so they wanted to do that. I gave people the option, and it's going to be a great event. Last year we had too many and too small a room, got a bigger room, and then there wasn't enough. And I know that happens with public things, but we'll do better next time hopefully on attendance. So that's it.
Thank you, Julie.
That helped. For the thanks. And
I couldn't agree with you.
Sorry.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on doing it in June. I think that's much better. People are really thinking about their yard and this and stuff, as opposed to snowing.
Yeah, totally agree.
Do we think it would be too late to do another one this year? I mean, I think it's a really important thing, and we can get the word out a little better, maybe do one maybe in July or something. It's a little late in the season, but at least get people thinking about it and, get that awareness out there.
Well, I'll, that's good you throw that out there, and maybe I'm gonna talk to Jamie and Kristen and Giselle. It's also, the agency is very much an interagency event, so they tend to start getting busy by then. And when you hit July 4th, they're way too busy with their stuff. So hard to say, but I appreciate that thought, and maybe we can chat about it with the people that coordinated it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting people involvement is the big kicker there. So not that we're opposed to it.
I don't mean to interject or anything like that, but there wasn't very much posting about it. Like, I didn't really see it on Facebook or anything, or it was very not spoken about. You guys gotta figure out a better way of getting the word out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that part,
I mean to be the negative Nancy or anything like that, but I
no.
don't see the.
No, you're right. I think like the Fire Safety Council, Giselle could speak, said they got a lot of people looking at it. They can see the interest or however that works, the tag, and then shares. And so that was on theirs, and the Weed Fire Department put it on theirs, but a little bit late. And so I think, yeah, you're right. In the future, if all the agencies do that and then some, there's other sites we could have done. You're right. It was not a good enough outreach.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe just do like a big community barbecue or something like that, potluck kind of thing where everybody gets, I think that would probably do well, Greenhorn Park or something, just do each community have their own little,
well, that's a whole
fire
other
safe
thing.
potluck.
Yeah, that's a whole other level, Greg. If we started doing it in every community, that's too much. We maybe though, what your idea. And I like the idea of doing a North County, South County for, that would be good, but we couldn't do every community. Nice thought, but no.
I mean, I think if we, yeah. But yeah, I think that would be something to get, people involved with it a little more rather than, let's all get together and sit in the classroom or something, Let's go sit in the park and enjoy nature.
Yeah, and we got over, I think about 3,500 views on our Facebook, and of that particular event, 150 engaged, and we had 10 shares. Thank you, Greg. But I don't know why people did not respond to that. We've talked about the one where you could make it an event, and Greg has been encouraging me to do that. I need Greg's help with that. So, but yeah, we did do some stuff.
I mean, that's what it's all about, though, is like opening up this dialogue and speaking about what we can do as the whole community sitting here talking about it, rather than the directors talking to themselves. That doesn't.
Oh yeah, we know that. And Greg, we already know that, and you're right. And what happened is last year we had probably, like I said, we overfilled a room with it, and they had a different registration process. It was through the community class. So we need to probably change that up, and that's what we're going to do. And we'll have more again like last year. It's just this year. And also, thunder and snow and lightning, and then the location in the back probably wasn't as good either, but people just didn't go, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. It was, I mean, it's that time of year, people aren't as, interested or even worried about it or thinking about it. So
people are reactive that way. Totally true. Yep.
Yep.
But thanks for that.
Most definitely.
And Gregory, we will call on you for help on our next one.
Okay, I would be more than happy to help.
Could I add something?
Yes, Greg, go ahead.
Go, Greg.
I just want to throw out the thought that I've spent the last couple of years, since I began taking a role with the group, of promoting these meetings on Facebook. There's like 6 or 8 different local groups where I post the meetings. And here we are talking to ourselves. There's hardly any members of the general community. I just don't know how to get people engaged.
I got a suggestion.
Yeah.
This is Joseph Hott. I got a quick suggestion. I know I agree with all what we're saying. There's a lot, like you're saying, Craig, there's a lot of groups on Facebook. What about like the Siskiyou County Grapevine or the Siskiyou County scanner site that we can post some of this on and broadcast it on some of their groups to get the community more involved?
I post these meetings on the Siskiyou Fire and Alerts page, both Dunsmuir pages, the Mount Shasta Neighborhood Watch, the Grapevine, and one other alerts page. I mean, I used to post to 3 others, but they considered it spam and they literally blocked me from the group.
Huh.
I'm
That's
just
silly.
It's ridiculous.
Well, let me say a couple things. As first, as we have been having this winter, our meetings have been 35 people, which is extraordinary. I mean, that's quite a bit. So tonight we have 18 here, and also it's been for the last 30-40 years that I've been involved with fire stuff. People don't think about it in the winter time. They just don't, and it's just a phenomenon that we have to accept and deal with. So if we can move on into the idea, like Julie said, moving this into June, where people are thinking more about it and we can get more interest, and certainly can to continue and increase our announcements. Gregory and Joey and Greg, I agree we can and need to do that. And so we'll take all this into consideration for our next event. But I don't think we're just.
And I bet you,
so today,
Jamie, I bet you
go ahead,
Susie
Julie.
Susie Brady being PIO probably also has a few words on it. Not to put you on the spot, Susie.
I think I agree with everybody. There's ways around it. We just have to look at strategies of how to reach people in different ways. I think the committee could come back together and we could figure that out to improve it for the next time. But as educators of departments and the fire service, we're not going to stop just because the one event had a poor turnout. So we're going to keep going, but truly appreciate everyone's input.
Well, and I just wanted to explain to anyone who isn't aware, the original reason why we scheduled this event on May 6th is because that is National Community Wildfire Preparedness Week, and all fire safe councils all over the country do, a very big push for that, week, and do outreach events that week. And so that's the background for anyone who didn't already know that.
Yeah, but we realize the overriding thing on that, Kristen, is a lot of people aren't even aware of it. It's the national, I think more importantly, got to think about our county and our weather and our operators training and meeting schedule. And that's why we kind of are thinking, I know Jessica, which she kind of pioneered it last year, was really wanting to do that. But now talking to all the agencies, there 2 agencies I talked to, they were really much more, let's not do it on the day when people, I think it's better. But, we can talk about it more another time. That's
and
enough.
then the other factor, it was the same date last year when we had 30 plus people at last year's event. And just to give background on that, it's they spent $4,000 on mailers to get 30 people there last year. So that was the Mount Shasta Bioregional Ecology Center had funding to do that. We don't have $4,000 to go send out for one event. So that's why it was well attended last year.
Well, it was maybe that, but it was also drought and 85 degrees out. So, I mean, and people had, it's just different mindset too. So, it's a combo. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, did we lose Jamie again? Looks like we might have. Well, we should move on. And I guess we could analyze this all day long and still not come up with the right answer, but we're going to keep going. As Susie said, this doesn't deter us at all. We're still out there making headway. And speaking of that, we're moving into another event, and we hope you all will be interested in coming and joining and helping us with the Worm Burner Golf Tournament. It's a fundraiser for Siskiyou County. Kristen, would you talk to that for me, please?
Sure, yes. It's came actually out of just one employee who is the PR rep for Rain Rock Casino, and she lost her home last year in the mill fire. And I had just met her a month before she lost her home at an event we were both at. We had our booths next to each other, and we just chatted and got to know each other throughout the day. And I was telling her all about, what the Fire Safe Council does, and she'd never heard of us and was all interested because she had just gotten dropped by her insurance. And I was telling her about starting Firewise communities and, to help people from getting dropped. She signed up on our email list. And so then a month later, she lost her home in the mill fire with no insurance. And she went to her bosses at Rain Rock and said, hey, we need to step up. We need to do something for our county, our communities, and help people out. So they started this it's a first annual, so it'll be every year, fundraiser where all the proceeds go directly to the Fire Safe Council to be used for clearing defensible space for low income and elderly, disabled, single parent families in Siskiyou County. And it's June 2nd. You can sign up to have a team. If you're a golfer, it's a team of 4, and it's actually cost effective. It's cheaper to play in this tournament than it would be just to go to the golf course on any other day. So if you're a golfer, let us know you want to sign up, get a team together. And there's lots of prizes. There's a car if you get a hole-in-one. There's a gun safe full of guns. There's all kinds of raffle and silent auctions. It's going to be a full day event with our partners, CAL FIRE, Fire Safe Council, the local fire departments. The CAL FIRE U.S. Forest Service. And we also are going to be debuting Wildfire Ready Raccoon, our new mascot. So that is exciting as well.
Good job, Kristen. Yes, and we're excited to do this. It's going to be a fun day with lots of raffles and gifts and really cool prizes and getaways to the coast and meals and all kinds of things that are being offered. Don't miss out. Even if you don't golf, please come on up and join us and meet Reddy and take part in the raffles. All right, we'll move on to the next thing, CAL FIRE update.
All right, well, good evening, guys. I'll start it off and then Jeremy will finish up. So a couple things. As of Monday, we have 1 engine per battalion. On June 5th, we'll have 1 engine per station. And then we should be fully staffed by June 19th. July 1st, we're going to bring on a Type 1 helicopter that's going to be stationed out of the Siskiyou Airport like last year. Burn permits are now required. That started May 1st. You will have to go online to apply for a burn permit. We know it's an issue. We know we've had problems. If you run into a problem when you're trying to apply for a burn permit, please don't hesitate. Reach out to me and we'll see what we can do to get it fixed. We do have a new battalion chief in the McLeod Pondosa Battalion, so Battalion 4. His name is Jason Collins. He started this week and he's super excited to be working here in Siskiyou. Besides that, our Firefighter 1 hand crews, which consist of 3 different crews, are staffed. They will be staffed 7 days a week. 1 day we'll have a crew on, and then 2 days we'll have 2 of them on. And then just to let you know, regarding the snowpack, we've attended multiple meetings here lately, as well as our Forest Service partners. And our higher elevations, we all know this, have gotten lots of snow and lots of water impact, but don't forget about our lower elevations, the Scott Valley, the Shasta Valley, and the Butte Valley. They're about 40% of normal. So we are still dry. We are seeing escape debris burns already. So please remember to be safe out there while you're performing your burning activities. And I'll refer it over to Jeremy.
Thanks, Susie. So just wanted to give an update. The wildfire prevention grants closed about a month and a half ago, and they were graded by the unit, and the CAL FIRE North region in Sacramento is currently taking the grantees that were selected and moving them through phase one of the process. And hopefully we'll have all that stuff posted pretty soon. Also, the fire plan was just completed by myself for the year, and it's sent off to North Region, and it'll be there for about a month getting reviewed. And I'm hoping sometime in July that the 2023 Siskiyou unit fire plan will be posted online and available to the public. And that's all I got.
Okay, let's see what's going next. Forest Service, you're up. Jamie just texted me, by the way, y'all, and she's trying to get back on, but she's not sure she can. Go ahead.
Okay.
Forest Service.
Hi. So again, I'm Jen Erickson from the Klamath National Forest. I'm a fire prevention officer here, and I'm going to look at my notes. Let's see. We started some prescribed burning last week out at Scott Bar Mountain. We got 30 acres of underburning done out there before some rain moved in and shut us down. Looking at getting back out there possibly tomorrow. And if conditions allow, we'll be out there burning potentially through the weekend, aiming for just about shy of 200 acres. But just before this call, I heard that they got some rain on the unit, so we might be a day out. The Goose Nest Ranger District over on the east side is looking to start burning the week after next. They've got 3 projects on tap. Van Bremer, which is northeast of Tennant. They've got 600 acres there that they're looking at. The Erickson project, which is just southeast of Grass Lake. That's been an ongoing project, and they've got 300 acres left for first entry burning. So hoping to knock that out this year. And then the First Creek project is north of Grass Lake, and 225 acres there. So we're monitoring our windows pretty closely out there. Also at the Goose Nest next week, they're hosting a national grasslands meeting. It's an internal meeting, but it's kind of a big deal. It's national grasslands managers from around the country. And just to remind you guys, we are the Klamath National Forest, and now I'm going to space it. We also have a grassland here. So so it's a pretty big deal. 3 days, I think, out of McDowell and Doris. All right, let's see. We released our snow surveys here for May. The overall snowpack is at 170% of the long-term average snow depth, and then 159% of the long-term snow water equivalent. So that's for the Scott River subbasin. I don't think that the Goose Nest was included in the most recent snow surveys. Last week we hosted a border meeting with our CAL FIRE partners, the Rogue Siskiyou National Forest, and the BLM last week, where we shared information about how we could share resources across borders. You know, not only is that a different national forest, it's a different national state, or a different state, and a different region. So there's some relationships that we try to keep up so that when wildfires hit along that border, we're set up to have a smooth collaboration in attacking those. The first wave of our temporary firefighters came on this week. They're getting trained up right now. They're going to keep on trickling in the coming weeks. We plan to go to 7-day staffing for our for sometime in June. We should be announcing 2 new battalion chiefs at the Salmon Scott Ranger District soon. I'm excited to be hearing those names released. And then as far as our fire resources coming into the season, we've got 3 20-person crews, 1 10-person wildland fire module. 10 engines will be staffed. 2 of them are going to be unstaffed due to staffing issues. Some of our engines that are staffed will be 5-day effective. We'll have the dozer, 14 fire prevention patrols. And then I think that we shared this before, but we've kind of made some adjustments to our aviation program. And now out of Fort Jones, we will have 2 Type 3 helicopters. Happy Camp will not be hosting a helicopter, but we're going to maintain that base for flexibility during fire season. So those 2 Type 3s at Fort Jones will be coming on June 15th. Our air attack platform is due to come on June 1st, and the Type 1 helicopter will be at Siskiyou July 15th. The community wildfire defense grants, there's going to be another round of those coming out for applications. There's no date set yet, but we're keeping a close eye on that. They're thinking sometime in the next couple months. So we will be sure to share with the group when those come out. Let's see. So for the Klamath Basin Priority Landscape, that group brought Jay Perkins, retired FMO actually from the Klamath here, on as a fire analyst to help identify and prioritize work in the WUI within that landscape. They're working on a video series that will be for public consumption to share what we're doing out there on the priority landscape and what it's about. And then kind of going back to the community wildfire defense grants, they're planning on hosting a series of workshops for how to apply for those grants. So again, more to come on that. And I'm just going to put a little plug in for our flower show here in Wairika. The Mother's Day Flower Show is going to be at the Wairika Community Center. And we'll be having a prevention booth at the Mother's Day Market at the fairgrounds. That's all I have, and I will hand it over to Forest Supervisor Rachel Smith.
Thank you, Jen. I really appreciate it. Hey, folks, and again, sorry for being a little late getting on this evening. I've been having Zoom issues. I'm sure some of you can relate. Technology seems like it's always getting the best of us. There's a couple of things that I wanted to just briefly talk about, but one of them was the priority landscape, which because our national office in DC can't resist making up new acronyms, they're also calling a wildfire crisis landscape. So far we're doing extremely well with it. This was a little bit of a, I guess, growing pain, I suppose, because we're working with Region 6. So we're working on the Oregon side of the border with the Fremont Wainema, and then we've got a small portion of the Rogue River Siskiyou. I'm actually pretty excited about that because that means there's 5+ forests across 2 states that are involved in this priority landscape. And we're moving forward with hiring some key personnel to help us in leading the effort. One of the folks, and I think you've probably heard about this from Jen, but we have a few retirees who are willing to come back. One of them is Patty Grantham, and Clint Isbell, who I know is familiar to a lot of folks, has been co-leading the effort so far. So we've been able to both have an impact on our forest, but also on all of our neighboring forests because we're taking lead for that whole effort. The reason I wanted to get on and mention the priority landscapes is because I'm anticipating another opportunity for funding for the next fiscal year. And I really wanted to invite ideas and input. Of course, as usual with the federal government, we have a lot of colors of money that are very specific in terms of what we can spend them on. But that said, I'm really looking for your voices in terms of as we think about what we do in the upcoming couple of years, really trying to tie the work that we're doing to outcomes. What we've heard from the chief and then also the Secretary of Agriculture and the entire administration is they're not looking so much for metrics on specific accomplishments. They're looking for outcomes in terms of safer communities. So really, I think that really jives well with everything the Fire Safe Councils do. So wanted to mention that early. We're thinking about the best way to kind of invite collaboration and participation and ideas on projects. And I will just mention in advance, I have found it a little bit, well, it's always interesting trying to figure out what you can spend, what colors of money on and what you can't. But we've got a lot of creative folks that are working on the project so far. The other thing I wanted to mention was the change that we have coming up this year in terms of our helicopter staffing. So we're moving to something called a super base concept. And that's something that's pretty common in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. And essentially, rather than having our 2 helicopters in different locations, we're co-locating them and we're adding additional management at the super base location. And that means that we can expand our sphere of influence. We're hoping, and this is not for the summer, but we're already sending folks out for trainings. We're hoping to be able to stand up short haul, which is going to be huge for us. I suspect many of you remember some of the really significant short haul emergencies we've had over the last couple of years. The one that really stands out to me was during the Antelope Fire, when we had a water tender rollover, and there was a just tremendous rescue effort by volunteer firefighters and then also our law enforcement from the Forest Service. Our local captain, McGowan, used, I think, a crowbar and winch straps to get the driver out of the rig. And then short haul ship from Medford and the short haul ship from Reading couldn't fly. So us thinking about what we can do in terms of short haul is really critical for me in terms of making sure all of our emergency responders are safe. And I'm hoping that the super base is going to be a step much closer to that. And we will be the very first super base in California. So I'm excited about that as well. The final thing I wanted to mention was something that Jen mentioned already. We don't have details, and I realize it's May 10th right now, but we are expecting a deadline in early June for the next round of community defense grants. So Jen is working very hard. She's talking to all the folks she knows at the regional office to find out as soon as we can find out what the deadline for that will be. But we'd also like to do capacity building. So if there's a way that we can assist with helping get through the process of applying for those grants, once we have the process that comes out, we'd like to do that. That's all I have for now, but just wanted to say thank you for letting me join you.
Thank you so much, Rachel. And we're looking forward to workshops. Dwayne, is he going to be putting them on? He suggested that he'd like to. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So because this is another one of those efforts with the priority landscapes, which are also known as the wildfire crisis landscape, they're coming out so fast that Patty and Dwayne, who's familiar to many folks in our county, and the entire team thought that we should come up with workshops to have for not just our publics, but also our internal employees, to make sure that our employees are aware of what this new initiative is. So they're working on scheduling them, and they're going to make them open to everybody. But the idea is just to talk a little bit more about what the effort is doing, what it's not doing, and then also the possibilities for input and people having a voice in the process going into the future. Right now, we are thinking this is something that we know that our Washington office is extremely interested in continuing to invest in. So they've been talking about a strategy that would go out as much as 5, 10, even 20 years. We know that we have funding for the next year or two that's already locked in, that we already have committed to agreements. And part of what we did this year with the funding that we had available was we put it into agreements with partners to make sure that it was safe, just in case. We always want to be ready for a rainy day. But I think there's going to be more interesting opportunities as well. So yes, Dwayne is going to be scheduling them. And I will say I've been to the first couple of internal ones, and I thought they were really interesting. And even though I've been very involved in this, I learned something new at each of them.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, he's a good teacher. So he helped us in the early days. He helped us get some grants for CWPPs 20 years ago. He was working with us. So it's good to have him back. He's great. So because we're working off of my computer and I'm running the Zoom, and I've only got about 50% left on it here in the car, I'm going to hurry along. So Siskiyou County OES is not here. Nancy Ogren, I don't see her. Joe Bergman, I don't see him. Prescribed burn. Lindsay, you have anything to say about that?
Giselle, Brian is on.
He is. Oh, I missed him. Brian. Oh, there you are. Brian.
Yes. Hello. Yes, hello everyone. So yeah, I'll give a quick update. A lot's happened. We just been preparing and pushing out our message, really getting prepared for the wildfire season. There'll be 2 code red tests coming up in June. We're finalizing the dates right now. We're trying to get the most impact for that. Right now, working a lot with pretty much all of the fire chiefs in local areas, just adjusting any zone haven areas that we may need a little tweaking on prior to the season. We saw some little changes last year during the McKinney fire in the Wairika area. So looking at that, we'll be offering up some zone haven trainings here in the next week or so. Zone Haven also has a new option where the instant commanders can update the zones on the spot without sending them out, and then working on training with that. So that's been a really big push for us. Still developing and building our Siskiyou Ready page, which will kind of be a one-stop shop for all warning and alerts. And it'll be a subset of the main page, a standalone page that Sheriff and I will manage, and we can push out all of our information to that, and not so bound down by the like the county code business that we have to deal with now. And then for me, a few weeks ago, just some good stuff that I'll pass to you. I went to the wildfire technology conference in Rancho Cordova for a few days, not last week before. Really good, actually amazing fire conference of what's new and what's coming. Opening picture was of the McKinney fire, so of course you knew that was going to be a hot topic. But one of the things that's exciting on that end is that NASA and Google AI have both teamed up along with the Department of Defense to start using satellite and satellite spotting for fires. And at some point around the globe, they can pull like a 1 by 1 meter hotspot through clouds. And that should be online this year, which is we're really excited. Speaking with one of the scientists, Siskiyou County got access to some of that, so we're looking at that. It's pretty neat. Also along with that, they've really integrated AI into all of that, so they can build and model fire spreads like really quickly within like minutes now. Google's on board with that, so I met the lead engineer on that, and he was too smart to talk to. That guy hurt my head. So also with that, I met the lead scientist for University of California, a biologist who is going to bring a team up to study the effects of fire landscape on the McKinney watershed and what that looks like for the future. They really want to model that steep terrain and see what that looks like. They've also done another LiDAR pass over the top of Siskiyou County, which we should be getting access to that here in the next few weeks. And then additionally, I'll pass this to you guys. I'm going to punt this over and then you guys can tie this in. But there's a new company called BurnBot. It's this like remote control. It basically cuts fire line remote control, and it's does like a burning thing. It's a cool little video. Anyways, I met the scientist, really cool guy. They want to practice in some like steep terrain because right now they're using it in like Napa and stuff like that. I'm like, well, that's cute, but why don't you come up to Siskiyou where we actually have steep terrain and see what that looks like? So I thought that would be a great project to work with Siskiyou Fire Safe Council and tie in with them to really get a hold of BurnBot and check it out. It's a great little thing, but I have all the information. I'll pass it over to you. I was speaking to the engineers yesterday and getting them tied in. Pending any questions, that is all I have.
I have a quick question for you, Brian.
Yes.
On the UC scientist side there, where you were talking about landscape fire and the McKinney,
Yes.
is Bill involved in that too? Is he helping on, or are you tapping his fire ecology?
So I have not. No. So they've been studying all basically during fire, during landscape. They haven't had boots on the ground yet, and they didn't know who to contact. And they were talking about the McKinney fire, and they're like, if we knew how to contact, and I like raised my hand, like, hey, like come talk to me. I'll put you in contact with whoever you need to contact. So yeah,
probably. I mean, of course, his people here can speak from, but he'd be probably a good resource for you. Huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. No. So whoever wants to be involved with that, let's get them up here. So.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks, Brian, for all your work. That's exciting information. I'd like to see how that all comes together soon. So moving on, Lindsay, do you have anything on the Prescribed Burn Association?
Yeah, I could just give a quick update. We're still working on finalizing our RAC grant agreement, working through the Forest Service process to get some funding to do some burning on private lands with Forest Service adjacency. So looking forward to whenever that gets finalized to work towards that. We lost our wonderful coordinator, Delphine. She's backpacking through Europe like young outgoing people should be doing in the summer, but it's reduced our capacity a little bit. And so we're going to be trying to fill that capacity. So if anyone knows anyone who's interested in helping with PBA coordination, please send them my way. We have funding to build out a second equipment trailer to provide supplies and equipment for folks to use in prepping and implementing burns. So we're excited to keep building out that capacity. And then also assisting with the planning for any treks and all hands all lands burning organized more downriver, and starting to look forward to some potential burns coming out of that. So that's all I got for now.
Well, thank you so much. If I miss you, like I did Brian, sorry, Brian, just shout out. Jim Patterson, are you here? Eric Olson, are you here? Anybody from the Sheriff's Office? Anybody from Pac Power? Scott River Watershed Council? Anybody there? That's also the PBA. I think that's why we're there. Anybody from CHP? County Natural Resources? Update on Stevens. So far, we haven't even heard about the last round, who's got it and who hasn't, or at least I haven't. But I think it's an ongoing, I was told, write them and submit them to your local Forest Service district ranger, or talk to them and they will tell you if they are able to submit them for now. Mount Shasta Bioregional, anyone here?
Yeah, I'm here, but mainly in a listening capacity. Jessica couldn't make it today.
Okay.
So I just wanted to be a set of ears for her.
Right.
Are there any specific questions you want me to relay, or?
No, just any updates or anything you wanted to share about the bioregional. And if anybody has any questions for Michelle, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm not the fire person for the Ecology Center, but I'm glad to send those on to Jessica if there are any questions.
Well, thank you, Michelle. We appreciate you and showing up for the workshops too. Thank you for coming.
Oh, it was a wonderful workshop. Thank you.
A Sierra Nevada Conservancy. Nobody here this time. Then local fire safe council updates. And guys, we need to, because I've only got less than 50% battery. If you could move through it quickly. Black Mountain.
Yeah, hi, this is Joe Hott. I just got a quick update. I haven't been doing too much work yet due to weather, but this spring when weather gets better, I'll be going out and doing some maintenance on the phase 3 that me and Perry Daniels did out here on Eager Road. And just a quick update also, we're coming up on the 5th year anniversary for the Klamathon fire. Hornbrook community is going to have a small little, basically Hornbrook Klamathon Carnival coming up sometime early July. I have not gotten any dates on it yet, but when I get those dates, I will pass them along. They usually have up to about like 20 booths set up, I was hoping that maybe me and Kristen and some of us can go out and set up a fire safe council booth. And like we were talking earlier in the meeting, maybe we can get some more people involved that way. Yeah, it's going to be a small little carnival coming up for the 5th year anniversary of the Climathon. They're going to have live music, food booths, and all that kind of stuff, and stuff for the kids to do, entertainment and things like that. So when I get some information on that, I'll pass that along.
Thanks, Joey. Yeah, we went to one. It was really fun a couple years ago. So Copco Lake, not here. Dunsmuir. Anybody from Dunsmuir? Kristen, did you want to say anything since you work kind of with him?
Yeah, we had a really successful first meeting, public outreach meeting in Dunsmuir a few weeks ago for trying to get the landowner agreements with all the residents who are in the project area for our grant there, and doing CEQA, and we'll hopefully get further funding to do fuel reduction in the future. And I wanted to speak a little bit to what Gregory was asking about, more grassroots community, neighborhood level gatherings to get more people engaged. And that's what we're going to be doing, starting, in Dunsmuir and working our way north with starting the Firewise communities. And we're working with our Dunsmuir Fire. Actually haven't figured out what we're calling ourselves yet, but Dunsmuir Firewise Committee are working with the Ford Family Foundation to get some funding to pay for exactly what you're talking about, Gregory, having barbecues, neighborhood barbecues, to get people come together, talk about their needs, and start those Firewise communities. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Greater Weed, not here. Hammond's Ranch. Anybody from Hammond's wants to talk about that? Happy Camp. Michael's not here today. Horse Creek. Anybody from Horse Creek? Juniper Flat. Juniper Flat's moving along. Their project manager and leader out there, Margie King, also one of our board members, had knee replacement surgery, and she is struggling. I mean, she's doing well. She's doing really well, but she's just healing, and it's taking a little time. So that's probably why she's not here today. And then Klamath River. Yvonne?
Hi, everybody. Right now, just real quick, I am attending the long-term recovery group meetings on Zoom for the Klamath River communities long-term recovery, and that's what most people have their attention on. And so something that is going to be happening soon is a community event, like a party, not a gathering with food and a coming together of people. And it would be the first time that a big community gathering is going to happen in Klamath River. And the date is to be determined. But what I'm looking for are ideas on how to introduce these people now who have been through a devastating fire and who may be rebuilding, or maybe they did not lose their home, because there'll be a mixture of people there, to introduce them to information, brochures, information about what they can do to have an impact in the future, while still being sensitive to that they were just through a disaster. So I'm just looking for some ideas and some support about what could be done at that event. It's probably going to be in June. So I have some time, so if anybody has something or been through something like that.
We do have something. Kristen has some good ideas because she too has been through a fire.
Great.
But it'll take some time to explain. She's also got some handouts and some different things that she can give you. So we could get together.
I'll get you, Yvonne. And if the board approves it, I'm happy to come to the event. And I went to the Happy Camp youth camp last year, and half the kids there had lost their homes, and all the others were obviously very affected in the Slater fire. And I'm actually diagnosed with PTSD from the car fire. We're car fire survivors, and our whole neighborhood burnt to the ground in the car fire. And so I taught them PTSD techniques, and all kinds of stuff. And we have all that kind of information. I have all
Wonderful.
I have all of that I can bring, all the information that you would need. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I put my information in the chat so we can get together.
I see that. Yeah, we'll get in touch.
We will.
Thank you.
And I'd like to attend that community get together, Klamath Revival meeting, or whatever you want to call it. So
Great. I'll
anyway,
keep you informed.
yes, please. And Lake Shastina, we're working with them. They've got a grant for we're not sure what we're going to do, a CEQA or a VTP, I think it's called. Anyway, we're working with them on that and moving along. Lower Scout River, anybody here? McLeod, Mount Shasta area. We've got 4 little grants in Mount Shasta doing fuel reduction. We just finished Caltrans 55 acres on their right away. We still have some paperwork to finish up. We're doing 296 acres of CEQA only from Azalea to Edgewood on I-5. And then we've got the Old Stage piece that we're doing, South Old Stage, and we've applied for North Old Stage. And hopefully we will be working with Shasta Valley RCD if we get that one. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. And I'm sorry to be talking fast, but I'm afraid my computer's going to die. Orleans Soames Bar, anybody? Quartz Valley, Salmon River, Syad, and Wairika. George, are you still on?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Just wanted to let you know, we're one of those people waiting to hear about the CAL FIRE prevention grants, wildfire prevention grants. We have a project in. We continue to send out our prevention through Jay Perkins' great work. We're sending out prevention information, great stuff that he's worked on a few years back and then just modifies and sends out to the Wairika Area Fire Safe Council group. And I think he also puts it on our Wairika Fire Safety Facebook page. And I wanted to mention something. I think it's important that it doesn't get missed, that there is a Siskiyou RAC opportunity right now, and they're looking for members for that committee. And there's a lot of folks here that may be interested in being on that. I know they're trying to recruit still. They can't have meetings until they have a quorum. And it's a process. I know Rachel maybe could talk a little bit more about it, but it's so important that that money get on the ground. It can be used for both. Somebody's dragging their wheelbarrow across the road or something. That's so important to get that money on the ground, but they can't get it on the ground without the committee members, and those are local citizens that fill in those roles. So if you're interested in all that, contact the Forest Service and let them know, because it's a process that takes time. But when we have money available, we want to get it on the ground. And the great thing about RAC funding, it can be used on public lands and private lands. So it's kind of like an all lands. And there's a lot of great projects that are being put on the ground right now from the last. And I know that it's going to be locally managed this year. So I just wanted to throw that up there, that opportunity they need committee members. So before they can even start rolling.
And real quickly, thank you so much for mentioning that. I can send out an email with all of the categories we're looking for, but essentially without the minimum quorum, we can't even meet. So that means that there's money that does not have the opportunity to make an impact in Siskiyou County. So if you check the comments, Jen Erickson did put a little bit more information about that and her email address in the comments as well. But thank you for the plug.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all, and talking about, I think we had 19 at one point, 19. I think that's a pretty awesome turnout myself. And I think that we've got such a good leadership here on this Zoom that we can take the word and we can move and shake a few things. And I'm excited about what y'all are doing and what's coming down. So now we're into open forum. Anybody have anything they want to talk about that we didn't already talk about? Okay. So, Kristen, were you able to capture any action items?
Oh, just to coordinate with Joey on the Klamathon Carnival and Yvonne with the Klamath River event. And our next meeting date is what, that's there, June 14th at 5:30.
Yep. Well, that looks like we covered it, y'all.
Can we
And
add
an
one
hour
more
and
thing?
40
Can we add
pardon me?
one more thing to the action items? Can you, Chris, when Rachel gets that information to you, can you send it out to the group to recruit folks for the RAC committee?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that's great. All right, anybody else? I still have some battery and we're at the end of it, so let's run this battery out if you want to.
Hey, Giselle.
Yeah.
Giselle, it's Susie.
Yes.
Could we maybe invite the Firewise guys to talk about Firewise for those other folks that were unable to make the Dunsmuir event? That way everyone can hear what the Firewise community is all about, program's all about.
Absolutely. So should we do that next meeting or put it out a couple of meetings so we can really get people jazzed up about it?
It's up to you guys.
We've told him that as soon as he is able, we want to have him at our meetings. I've been telling him that for the last few months. And I think we were kind of waiting on getting the community wildfire risk assessment training done for Dunsmuir that we've been trying to do for the last 5 months. And it's gotten held up, with new folks being hired. And so I think that should, hopefully be happening soon. I know it's getting crazy for everyone, but hopefully we can get that done and get the ball rolling for Siskiyou County. And so we can start getting other communities with their applications in the pipeline too. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with the Firewise. But yeah, I'll reach out to him again and just, I feel bad because I'm like a super squeaky wheel in his inbox.
Well, Kristen, we're also able to help on the CAL FIRE Siskiyou side since we're all one department. So let me know if we need to reach out to them on our end.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Sounds good. All right, you all. Thank you and have a great month in between this meeting and the next. See you at the Worm Burner. All right. It's got some good things going on. Bye, Michelle. All right.